Oh, Shisa. All right. Too funny. I pushed it and then went anyway. Technology is not my friend. So anyway, back from a big business trip, I can backtrack. It's not easy. And then for the benefit of the other watchers, like on BitChute and Rumble, they don't have to deal with those shenanigans that I get to pull off. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna start over. Yeah. All right. So I did a business trip. On my long trips, I like to listen to people who um, have longer postings. You know what? I got actually a watcher here. It's a fly on my ring light that I don't have anything on. But anyway, I because the trip I took Thursday, it was a little over 5 hours to get there, and then I had another hour and a half to get up to my next destination. And then I had like 2, 3 hours there, and then I had another 2+ hours to get back home. It was like almost 2.5 hours to get back home. It was a lot, and that doesn't include stops to, for human things that you need to do. But you end up getting a lot of time where I need to stay occupied. I need to keep my brain moving. So the longer broadcasts are really helpful. Didn't just listen to Kathleen Cameron, but I listened to a couple other people. But she was talking about, it was a really good question, I thought, but posing the question, if I had only food stamps, how would I start a business or help other people? And I immediately thought of the different things that I could do to help other people would be something like going to a soup kitchen and helping people. I don't need to spend money to help other people because clearly, if you're taking food stamps, man, you got nothing. You got nothing. If you're accepting help from somebody else, ultimately you're collecting food stamps to help other, from our taxes pay for the food stamps, et cetera. And I'm happy to do that for those people that can't help themselves. Because that's ultimately what I do. You would first have to ask yourself, you realize that you have everything that you already need and it's already here and accessible. So even if you didn't want to go down to the soup kitchen to help somebody else because maybe you don't have any people skills or skills in that respect, you could go down to the library and you could get a free government phone, so you don't even have to pay for the phone. You could go down to the library and you could use, their internet or wherever they have free internet. You wouldn't even need the government phone. You can go in and sign up to use the computer and do. I mean, I know they kind of limit some of the stuff that you can do there, but they're not going to question that sort of thing. Where you're going to be helping people, I would hope. She mentioned that in order to do this, yes, and I agree with that 100%. In order to do whatever that you need to do, you have to realize that you are limitless. And if you feel like you're at the bottom of the pyramid, so to speak, there's a lot more steps for some people than there are for others. And I believe that those steps are only in our mind, and you don't have to take one step at a time. Just as an example, I was probably about 115 pounds wet when I was in my 20s. And I remember working in a restaurant that we had a basement and the potatoes were in the basement. The dumbwaiter was full. I had to get onto the main floor and I needed a bag of potatoes, a 100-pound bag of potatoes. I picked those bag potatoes up and I put them on my shoulder and marched up those stairs. When I didn't have the bag of potatoes, I typically took those stairs 2 steps at a time because I wanted to get there in a hurry. Whether I was going up the stairs or down the stairs, never stumbled once. Concentration, focus. So the day that we were born, we already have all the things that we need to achieve whatever our version of greatness is. You can say greatness, but I say whatever our version of greatness is. Yeah, driving, brainless. Gotta put that. Gotta stay. I don't have a problem staying awake when I drive because I really truly do enjoy driving. So here's the other thing that I think was kind of important, that when you realize that you do have the information accessible for quote unquote greatness, whatever that means to you. My problem is that just because you have the knowledge of something, you realize that you have these things, doesn't mean you have the skill or ability to access it. And I'm not just talking about accessing information. So when you pick up a musical instrument, you don't typically have the skill or ability to, play something complicated. You typically have to do the work. And I think for me, that's the point. You have to do the work first. So saying that you are born with and already have the things that you needed to achieve greatness, you may have the flour, the eggs, the milk, the butter or oil to make the cake, but you just have the ingredients. And it takes time, skill, and attention. And you may make a flat cake the first time, and the second time, and the fifth time, and the 10th time. As long as you're diligent and you continue to do the work and figure out, not giving up, but figuring out what component you're missing, the cake will eventually come. And that reminds me of when I was working in a very nice restaurant where the chef was trying to teach me how to make a Bavarian cream, and he did not like the way it came out. And there was a lot of ingredients in there, and it was a large mixing bowl. It would probably held, I don't know how many quarts, but it was huge. It was hard to lift. He picked that sucker up and dumped it out. He was so angry, and I just kind of stood there. I kind of cleaned up, and he came back and he said, "Do it again." That was a very important life lesson. So you might even not have an awareness of yourself and an awareness that what you really want to do, and you have to figure out what you want to shape it into. And these your experiences will create that shape, that spiral. And if you don't like the trajectory, change it. It's up to us to change it. And that's why I think it was really important for me, and that the job that I was doing as a client service manager or a case manager for mental health, even though I'd only been doing it for about 5 years, there was a level of comfort with the surroundings, even though we kind of got, anyway, that's a whole different subject. We weren't comfortable in our particular office space, but it's the idea of being comfortable with the people, the process, the knowledge of what needed to happen next. And when you start seeing more flaws that you have no control over, it might be time to move to a place where you have the skill to do better work, to do more work and find more challenge. So that's what had happened to me, is that I took a job last week, signed on the dotted line as a supervisor for a day program, and it's for the IDD and DD population. So if you don't know what that is, please do look it up. So really what this is about is authenticity, clarity, balance. And I think there are different kinds of balance. And that's where I think that is the balance, is understanding yourself, where your skills are, what your skills are. And the only way for you to figure that out is sometimes you're going to get a burnt finger, a cut, a scrape, or a bonk somewhere on your head or body. I got plenty of scars from that when I was cooking. So yeah, authenticity, clarity, balance, and finding our limits and understanding what our limits are is one way that we can keep ourselves safe. So limits that we set are not necessarily bad things as long as we're aware of them and have that ability to acknowledge them and being able to break those barriers down when we find that it's necessary to achieve our next step. Which that's what I kind of feel like my analogy of getting that other job is. I mean, I could have applied outside my agency, but I didn't want to do that, because you have that certain amount of tenure. What I did like about it, it's in a completely different area of the county. It's outside of that office. So it's going to be totally new. It's going to be like working for a different company. It's going to be, I'll, be reporting to the director directly, and not just reporting to a supervisor. So, I mean, it's just going to have a completely different dynamic. And when we have that authenticity that results in equaling empowerment, if we don't have that, we might want to revisit. We got to be careful. We could revisit our motives for wanting this stuff, right? Right. I'll take that as a yes. So yeah, this is my list of things that I want to do for myself today. The other thing I'm going to be doing is I am going to be going to, here it is. I just bought them today. These are it's the Mid-Michigan Paranormal Connection, October 26th and 27th at Soaring Eagle Casino. And it's going to be fun. 26th and 27th. Non-refundable ticket. So, yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing. It's going to be fun, fun, fun. Yeah. From 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I don't think they're going to do any like recordings and postings or anything like that. I think it's, you show up, you do the deal, and it's a done deal. So the other thing I'm going to be doing is the Eaton Rapids on October 19th. That's a Saturday. I'll be there early to set up. I don't think they open until 10. I don't know if it's like 10 to 4 or 10 to 5, whatever it is. I'm game. I'm gonna have to put the dog in a kennel for the day because I don't want her to, be all by her onesies. But I bought I'm making some different kinds of pyramids. This guy's really cool. Brass, gold, mica, and I can't remember. These are kind of an unusual. I get a lot of the stones from Fox and Toad. They're really cool. It's a nice little family business. I have to clean the edges up on this, but it's got tiger eye on the base. And I really like the shungite on the bottom. So that's supposed to reduce EMF. It's an EMF mitigator. One of the other stones I've not used before. So actually, what is tiger eye? So like tiger eye is protection, courage. It can release negative energy. So it can be clearing, can help you with insight and mental clarity. And this was, I talk about balancing. This one is balancing yin yang. So that's like the action and the preparation. So if you're not doing enough of one or the other, it can help you balance that. There's some emotional healing, chakra balancing, can help you also with our body cleansing. But one stone that I've not seen till recently is I've never even heard of it, is bronzite. And I get little tiny ones. I get the stones. I don't know if I can get them in my hand in the right position that you'd be able to see them, but And that's, they're different shades, but yeah, I get the chips because they cover more area. I think they release more. It's a really long one. But this is also grounding and balancing. This is a body balancing. So it's not that emotional balancing of the yin yang action and planning. This is a harmony and tranquility. So it's like a chill pill. It's also a protector, but it's about the environmental protection, what your environment you're in. Courage, assertiveness. I think a lot of times when you're distracted and you don't feel safe, that balancing and grounding can help. I think it's just natural that the courage and assertiveness is going to come up. Also, when you have that feeling of protection, you're also going to be able to make better decisions. It's going to help you with that. Also, when you're not stressed and you feel protected, your creativity is going to expand. You're also, with the information that you're receiving from other people, emotional, that you can also have that creativity come through. The other things that bronzite can help you with is, I have not read this yet, root and sacral chakra activation. That's pretty awesome. I'm also going to use a couple of other contrasting things with this to help support it. Contrast is balance, right? It also helps, the bronzite also helps with healing and purification. So bronzite is associated with Leo, calming and soothing effect, amplifying its energies and promotes balance and harmony. And that's pretty much it for bronzite. It's pretty cool. And it reminded me of the tiger eye, only it's less striking. These are polished. These look really cool. Like I said, they have some really nice stones where they do bigger stones, they do worry stones, and they do hearts of different, but high quality stuff. I've never been disappointed in their stones and whatnot. I think that those are a couple of theirs. I think that might be some Tansberry in there. But there's definitely brass, tiger eye, and the mica. So that is that. The other thing, oh yes, the other guy I made, I'm going to call it the Harbinger. So you can see this guy is kind of traveling across. He's leaving a trail of silver. It's the skull. He's going to be heading towards something. I'm going to put something right there. So the Harbinger is coming for something, and I'm not going to say what it is, but this is what he looked like outside. So I'm going to do another one who is going to be waiting, the Harbinger in waiting. This is amethyst. And I believe this is, might be sterling silver plated. It's heavier than what aluminum might be. So these are quite heavy. They're quite sturdy. But these are cool. I really like this and thought it went well with that. It was something that kind of drew those two guys together. All right, my lovelies. Everybody have an awesome day. If you'd like to see the readings, maybe a little more intuitive information. I had a conversation that was pretty interesting with a friend of mine last night, and we got some interesting stories down about what we might be seeing in the next 30 days. So blessings to everybody. If you'd like to see more, like, share, subscribe. You can check out more information that's going to come tagged on to the rest of this. Thank you so much, Arizona. I hope you are doing well. And thanks for stopping by.